How do you think Damo's travelling at the moment, Chief?
Well, now, I didn't see last night, Warrior, unfortunately, but they tell me you were, under sufferance perhaps, were forced to don costume for the footy show. Is that correct?
That's a fair assessment of what happened, Chief.
So
yes, I'm
what
glad
happened to your scruples? You couldn't stand up and say, well, you know what, I'm better than that, and I won't dress up.
I did for part of the show where I was in my normal, very straight-looking suit.
How are you dressed for the rest of it?
In a Gilligan outfit.
Always held you in the highest esteem.
No, you haven't, Darcy. Don't be disingenuous
here. I think I've been your greatest support out of anyone in the box here.
You're better than that, Warrior.
Had you just a touch above the lower rent journalists who jump out of garbage bins and hide themselves behind trees, Hutchie, who you now work for. Now, don't tell me you've wandered into that territory last night on the footy show, because I believe you had the camouflage gear on. You were staking out the offices of the Collingwood president. In fact, I didn't see the show last night, but let's have a bit of a listen to some of Damien Barrett's finest. The first voice you'll hear is Travis Cloak's manager, Ralph Carr.
Ralph, can we just get a word on how that went with Eddie today?
I'm not going to comment. I'm just socially having a coffee with him.
Have you progressed negotiations?
No, we just socially caught up for a coffee.
You and Jeff Walsh? Yeah. How'd you go with that? Did that progress talks a bit? Yeah, and Ralph Carr and yourself and Eddie and moved it along with talks on Travis Cloak?
We're always going to meet, mate. He's a pretty important player. Yeah.
How far away do you think it is before you might make a
not
decision?
Far. Westpac's only about 5 minutes from here, so I'll be down there very shortly.
Could be done in the break.
Thank you.
How did that one go, Damo? That's not normally Damo's go, jumping out of garbage bins.
No, but
he doesn't do that.
In fairness, Luke. I've got to defend my man here.
No, so have I.
No garbage can.
What?
I was wearing my suit.
He was hiding behind trees.
Listen, when it's a news story you got to chase, and you get wind of a meeting taking place with Eddie Maguire, who's now stepped into the fray on this, and to get it done, you go down there, you drop everything and go down there.
Mate, now what pure old nonsense is this? Now, Luke, if you were running a football club and someone came to you and you put the car window down and they said, how far are you advanced with getting Dunstall to play for you? You'd say, well, I tell you what, we're going to chat about it. We're hoping he'll play for us. We'll let you know if anything happens, but we're just trying to work it out now as we speak. Now, what in the hell is all that other rubbish about? That is just nonsense.
Let's backtrack a bit. I always held you above the rest of us. I mean, we're all mugs that play dress up on shows and act like imbeciles, make fools of ourselves.
The dress up,
dressing up. I still can't get over the fact that you lowered yourself to our level.
Well, it was a theme night. I know none of you saw it. I wonder if anyone did see the show. Apparently 500,000 did.
Of the audience,
I know you might have seen it was a themed show to try and lift the stocks of Gazman here in the Melbourne Football Club. We had legends like Lord and Keneally and Hassan Manning. We showed the cup. We showed old footage. It was a huge...
The greatest tool a journalist can have is integrity.
Is
integrity.
Mind you.
I just
may not have much anyway,
that Warrior's starting to trade his in for a little bit of...
I didn't have a say in it, Chief.
This is coming from a man who jumped out of a greyhound box with a collar around his neck.
Yeah, I told you. I just said we all make idiots of ourselves.
And what happens when you get to a certain level as a journalist? You are able to do that without it affecting your credibility. That is when you've arrived. When you can say...
Now the wolf...
When you can say...
He's tugging himself.
I can rise above this and still get away with it.
You should have risen above it and said no to
There may not be much to work with in the first place, Chief, and I'm starting to realise that, I think.
Who made you dress up, Damo?
Officials, powers that be.
So Jim and Gaz did.
Gary did.
He's got more strength than that, Damo.
I thought I did too.
Gilligan, where is your...
There was a threat made to me on the Wednesday night that had me worried.
Yeah.
So we compromised. We wore a suit for part of the show.
Who threatened you, Damo? And what did you say to him?
I said, well, dress up or don't come on.
Ever again, he said.
Because you know what, Duke?
They need
in this caper, those that take themselves too seriously, and as I lean forward and look along the boxes, both right and left, I can see 15 of them. And you know that if you can't laugh at yourself, you best wander off and perhaps join those And you boxes.
Don't necessarily have to not dress up to not have credibility. I'm reading an article here where it said the judges for the Legends selection were
Hall of Fame.
Fitzpatrick, legend status. Fitzpatrick, Cometti, Finnis, Lane, Main, Parkin, Reynolds and Wicker. Well, two of those are incorrect. Tom Reynolds has been overlooked, and so has Tim Lane, and they've been replaced by Bruce McAvaney and
right?
Stephen Phillips. And that was written by a man who didn't even dress up. That's written by Mark Robinson. So I don't know if you have to put on a Gilligan suit to actually have some credibility when you write things. Not knocking Mark Robinson necessarily. Well, maybe he wasn't responsible for filling in.
Well, of course you're responsible for your own copy.
The two of the names are wrong, because that's when I said, with some of those names, it's a wonder Plucker, Duck and Dickie Knee aren't in.
Now, Duke.
And now I'm taking that back, because Stephen Phillips and Bruce McAvaney have replaced people who probably would have a better idea than those that they've replaced.
What, you don't rate Tim Lane?
Or Tommy Reynolds, as far as picking Hall of Famers and legends.
Who would be a wise choice to be making that decision?
Well, Stephen Phillips and Bruce McAvaney have replaced those two.
Yes, I understand that.
And then that went on to nominate 7 people that might get into legend status, and we might be sitting amongst one of them, because the chief here is nominated.
Well, who are they? Have we got time, Duke?
Yeah, well, I tell you.
This is an opinion.
Williams, Lockett, Ablett, Carey, Blight, Chief, and Cable.
Ooh.
And one of those, I believe, or we believe, I presume, will be a legend.
We might come back and talk.
And I'll tell you it'll be, if you'd like.
We'll
to
do that right after the break with the Foss. He's going to name the next legend. He might be sitting amongst us. Just for the record, I still think Domo let himself down.
And I reckon he should have called the bluff, because they can't do that show without him.
You're
bigger than that, Warrior.
Coming up,
we can and we will.
Justin Leppich, our special guest. Chief, looking forward to that one in particular.